Hey, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I got a question to ask Muslims, and I just want a straight up answer. We're gonna look at some stuff. You guys tell me what I'm missing, because I don't know how y'all square this circle. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so what am I referring to, man? So I have the clear Quran here, and I find it interesting because in the back of the clear Quran, it has kind of a reference or index, I would say. But if you look here, you have a whole thing called scientific references. All these verses supposedly scientific references in the Quran. Okay? That ain't even what I'm trying to talk about. Because I read this joint, because I'm reading like a chapter a day, you know what I mean? Just getting it in. I read this, bro, and I'm like, what the hell? So for people to claim that the Quran has scientific references, okay? And look, disclaimer, this is not in Arabic. So I don't know what the Arabic says, but I do know I can go to the tafsir, read commentary on it. So let's just peep real quick. Okay, so boom. So I'm looking at Surah Ar-Ra'd, Surah Ar-Ra'd Thunder, 13th Surah. And it's chapter 13, verse or ayah 13. We'll start at verse 12. Okay, but listen to this. You tell me what I'm missing, bro. It says, He, that is Allah, is the one who shows you lightning, inspiring. Then in parentheses it says you with hope and fear, and produces heavy clouds. The thunder glorifies his praises, as do the angels in awe of him. He sends thunderbolts, striking with them whoever he wills. Yet they dispute about God, and he is tremendous in might. I'm gonna read that again. He is the one who shows you lightning, inspiring hope and fear, and produces heavy clouds. The thunder glorifies his praises, as do the angels in awe of him. He sends thunderbolts, striking with them whoever he wills. Yet they dispute about God, and he is tremendous in might. First and foremost, thunder is not seen, thunder is heard. But this sounds straight like Zeus, that God sends thunderbolts striking people, whoever he wants. Maybe I'm tripping about it, but let's see. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go to the Quran itself, right? And I'm just gonna go to Quran 13:13. Y'all see the screen here? And the cool thing about this, right, to get deeper into the verse itself, I'm saying if we click on it, I think it'll take us to where I need us to go. Now look, you can go to tafsirs, lessons, reflections. Let's go to tafsirs. I'm trying to find the one that I read earlier. It might be a lesson. Let me see. This right here. Prophetic commentary. This was posted 8 years ago. Uh, I don't know if this is a hadith or not, but I'm just gonna read it, and I'm just like, bro, come on. Anas narrates, the Messenger of Allah sent one of his companions to one of the great leaders of the time of ignorance to call him to Allah, blessed and exalted. He said, "What is this Lord of yours to whom you call? Is he made of copper, or is he made of iron, or is he made of silver, or is he made of gold?" He returned to the Prophet, his Prophet Muhammad, and told him. So the Prophet sent him back a second time. He said the same thing, so he returned to the Prophet and told him. He sent him to him a third time, and he said the same thing. So he returned to the Prophet and told him. Then Allah, blessed and exalted, sent a thunderbolt that scorched him. The messenger of Allah said, Allah, blessed and exalted, has sent upon your fellow a thunderbolt that scorched him. Then this verse came down, and he sends thunderbolts and strikes therewith whom he wills while they dispute about Allah, and he is severe in assault. Narrated by, it says sound, narrated by Al-Bazar in his Musnad, 7007 in this wording, and Abu Yala in his Musnad, 3341. I read that earlier, bro, because I was just like, okay, I want to see what the Islamic view is on this. I don't want to hear polemics. I want to go to the sources, and this is clearly what they say. They really believed this was a real thunderbolt striking people. But we know this can't be true. And for a book to have a whole thing in scientific references. It says the Quran is miraculous because of these scientific. I'm sorry. How does thunderbolts, how does that fit with the scientific paradigm that you're saying is from Allah? And if this book was from Allah, then would not God know that lightning and thunder are not the same? This is straight up what Zeus does. He throws thunderbolts at people. This is, guys, I mean, come on. Let's grow up. Let's grow up. I don't understand how he sends thunderbolts striking with him whoever he wills, yet they dispute about Allah. I am not disputing about Allah. I'm disputing about the fact that he sends thunderbolts striking with them whoever he wills. And that you had a lesson from Anas, that narrated that this verse came down because God sent a thunderbolt and strike somebody. Guys, so all I'm saying is when I read that, it just, I'm trying to really understand regarding with the tafsirs. This Ibn Kathir is probably the most recognized. That's 13:1. That's not what we want. We want 13:13, but yeah, I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen. So I'm trying to understand, why people take something and then they'll totally like reinvent their whole life based on it. You know what I mean? And it, it's not that I don't understand because I do, because I've been there, you know. I was super religious. You know what I mean? I was super religious and I studied so much. And what really led me kind of out of it, man, is that no one agrees even on their own religion. I mean, whether you're talking about Islam, you got Sunnis and the Shias, and that's not even it. You have more different groups that had different views. In Judaism, you know, you had Jews and Samaritans, and even within Judaism, you had the Essenes, you had the Ebionites, the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the these, the this, the that's. Christianity, you had the Marcionites, you had the Valentinians, you had You had all these different groups, and it's just God could tell us, like God could say, this is the true path. There are no errors here. Every religious text I've come across, there's errors, there's contradictions. Uh, there are things that are culturally bound, even within Zoroastrianism. Um, the Ahura Mazda was one of the deities and became a supreme deity, and the Devas were the Hindu gods. Then they became the evil, demons, or so to speak, and which brings me to a point. I'm actually going to show this because I think it's a great point. I just thought about it. All right, guys. So think for me, okay? Just think with me. This book is called The Loom of Language by Frederick Bonner. It is an approach to the mastery of many languages. However, the thing with this book is that it shows how languages borrowed from each other. And the fact is, when you look at languages, you have words. Well, your languages are kind of broken into the Germanic languages and the Romance languages. So your Romance languages are like French, English, Spanish, Italian, and those come from Latin. So different dialects change by where people lived and things like that. But if you look at Arabic, in Spanish, you have words in Spanish that are words of Arabic. And why is that? Well, because lands and people conquered other lands, and then their language began to be used, and that became uh, a intermix of two languages to create a new language. That is religion. That is absolutely religion. It is the same thing. This group comes and conquers this land, and their religion gets imposed, but these people already have a religion. So what do? They syncretize their religion, unless they're all killed and genocided, but they will syncretize the religion. They will adapt certain things, or they will believe in both in a sense. Um, so I'm 100% convinced that this is just a natural occurrence in all things. I mean, there is not one religion that is the one that has not borrowed from others. It just doesn't exist. Um, and that's the same with languages, you know. That's the same with technology. Uh, that is just things evolve and syncretize and things build on each other and grow and become new things. But those building blocks and foundations are still there. Um, but so I'm all for being corrected because I want to learn and know things that are true. So if there is a Muslim, that can give me a good explanation, because in here there is no reference. In the clear Quran, there is no reference to 13:3, 13:13, I'm sorry. Because I tried to find it. And you have that narrated that God did send a thunder, but we know thunder is what's heard, not seen. Lightning is what's seen. We know this. In our day, we know this. They didn't know this. But even if you look in some of the Psalms in the Old Testament, which came prior to the Quran, um, it says God's voice thundered, or something like that, that his voice, was thunderous. So the thing is, I'm trying to understand if they're reading this. Am I tripping, or is there something I'm missing? Because for God to hurl thunderbolts down, that's Greek mythology, man. That's Greek religion. That is the religion of the Greeks and the Romans. Um, and one, it just isn't accurate. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video to show that it seems like religions have just evolved and syncretized over time. And I'm just curious if I can get a Muslim response to 13.3. That's all. Very curious to have that dialogue. Maybe there's something I'm missing, and I'm all for correction. So appreciate you guys watching. You guys take care.